Man, I love earning all the achievements and trophies in games. It's a hyper-compulsive aspect of my brain that I will never overcome. It's a part of me. But it's kinda hard ranking achievements on an individual level like I've been doing on my channel. I thought it was a good idea, and YouTube now has a void to fill when it comes to someone completing games. But man, is it a daunting and slow productive cycle to pump out a video in this format sometimes. So let's just mix up the formula. Today I'm doing a retrospective on Rage again. It's been quite some years and I want to judge the quality of its achievement trophy list by giving every achievement a score between 1 and 5 based on how purposeful, fun, and how few red flags they have. I've also come up with 10 red flags that are total boner killers to completionists that I will assign to achievements and keep a tally as we go. The brutal flag, for when things are blatantly too hard or even go overboard into the realm of unfair. The purchase flag, for when you need to spend real-life money for DLC or devices, not including the purchase of the game itself. The glitchy flag, for when you do exactly what the achievement asks, and it still doesn't pop either due to a glitch or a bad description. The grindy flag, for when things are overly repetitive or boring. The impossible flag, for achievements that can literally no longer be obtained due to server shutdowns or glitches that were never fixed. This is easily the worst flag of the group, as it utterly cock-blocks any hope for 100%. The lucky flag, for things that are completely up to random chance. The missable flag, where if you don't take the right actions at the right time, you'll miss your chance and must start a new game to try again. The multiplayer flag, for when flying as a single player isn't enough. The obscure flag, when it's unlikely to discover what you need to do without the help of looking up a guide. And finally, the schedule flag, when you need to complete a task at a certain time or on a certain day in real life. After evaluating the achievement list, I'll give Rage some final verdicts as a whole game, a ranking based on the quality of the game itself, completion aside. After all, completing a game is way more tolerable when the game itself is enjoyable. And a game could be top tier quality with an unholy hell of a completion. Following that will be a final difficulty score, time-consuming score, miscellaneous flag score for all the red flags not pertaining to difficulty or time, and a final recommendation score from me to you on whether the 100% is worth it. Now that I've thrown out a bunch of fluff, let's put it into practice and get into talking about Rage. There are 3 different versions of Rage you could be playing: Xbox, PlayStation, or Steam. All of them have the same list of 60 achievements/trophies, with the only minor difference being that the PlayStation version has its trademark Platinum trophy, but that doesn't change the overall experience. We can knock out a healthy batch of story progression achievements that will automatically unlock as you play through the main campaign. Ghostbuster, Waste Management, Leadfoot, Gladiator, Debunked, It's Alive, Wellness Plan, Jailbreak, Heatus, Muty Blues, Vault Assault, Power Struggle, Decrypted, and Hey Not Too Rough. That's almost a fourth of the list right there. Story progress achievements serve their purpose as milestones. They're as simple as can be, and though not original, it's a staple to have these in any game to give you gradual reassurance. All of these get a 4. Since we're on the topic of beating the game, we have Hurt Me Plenty, finish the campaign on at least normal difficulty, Ultraviolence, finish the campaign on hard difficulty, Rage Nightmare, finish the campaign on nightmare difficulty, and Night Terrors, finish the campaign on Ultra Nightmare difficulty. These achievements stack, meaning if you beat the game on a higher difficulty, all of the difficulty level achievements lower than that will unlock too. Most games do this, and thank the heavens, because it would be a pain in the ass to have to beat the game 5 separate times for each difficulty level. That being said, there's no reason to play through the game more than maybe 2 times max. The first playthrough on easy or normal, or maybe even hard, depending on how spicy you want it to be while you get acquainted with the game, and then a second playthrough on the highest difficulty when you're good and ready. So if they do stack and I'm not going to run through the game 5 times, why even have the layers in the middle? Let's just have 1 achievement for beating the game for the first time, and then 1 more achievement for beating it on the highest difficulty. By my logic, that'll put Hurt Me Plenty and Ultraviolence in the 3 out of 5 camp. I was going to include Rage Nightmare also, since it's only the 2nd highest difficulty, but since Ultra Nightmare difficulty is only available if you purchase the Scorchers DLC, Rage Nightmare serves somewhat of a purpose as the hardest non-DLC level. But I mean, a true completionist will get the DLC and hold out for the level even further beyond. I don't want to give Nightmare difficulty a 4, but it has slightly more justification than normal and hard difficulties. Can I give it a 3.5? Is that allowed? Actually, why am I asking you guys? It's my video, I'll do what I damn well please. Rage Nightmare, 3.5 out of 5. Night Terrors for the Ultra Nightmare difficulty will get a 4 out of 5. And here we'll also get our first red flag counted, the purchase flag, because Ultra Nightmare difficulty is DLC locked. Also, doing an Ultra Nightmare run might be the most challenging thing this game has to offer, but not enough to bring the brutal flag into question. In fact, this is one of the easier, hardest difficulty runs in several games I've played, if that makes sense. You know what I love doing? Killing things! We got a healthy dose of kill-based achievements. Open-minded, get 10 headshots with the sniper rifle. Once you get the sniper, this is child's play. Actually, wait, don't let your child play with a sniper rifle. It encourages you to give the weapon a fair spin, and I absolutely love the name. 4 out of 5. Decapathon, get 10 headshot kills with wingsticks. Very similar to open-minded, but with wingsticks, which are bladed boomerangs. Don't ask how those work logistically. I easily could have unlocked this 20 times over. I was flinging wingsticks left and right at every fool. They could have easily multiplied the number of enemies to behead with wingsticks, and I wouldn't complain. Still, it gets you to try them out. 4 out of 5. Silent but deadly. Stealth kill 10 enemies with the striker crossbow. This requirement is misleading, but in a way that's in the player's favor. You really don't have to snipe 10 unaware enemies with the crossbow while staying incognito. It's just 10 crossbow kills in general should suffice. The crossbow is fun, and this makes you use the crossbow. 4 out of 5. Jetpacker. Kill an authority enforcer during jetpack descent. I had to stew on how I felt about this one. This feels like one that many people would unlock by accident. And if you want to get it on purpose, it's a little annoying. There are few places where you can find an authority soldier jetpacking down, and when they do, they don't stay airborne long. It's not deserving of a red flag, but it lets you have one of those, whoa, did you see that shit moments? Alright, let's give it a 4. Demolition Man, destroy 100 enemy cars. I love blowing shit up in this game. 100 is just big enough that it doesn't seem frivolously small, but it's not so big that it crosses the line into grindy horse shit. It's the perfect balance. Like, could you blow up 100 enemy cars over the course of a casual playthrough? Maybe? I mean, probably not, but you'd have a pretty big chunk of progress towards it. A 4 out of 5. Passive aggressive. Get 3 kills with a single sentry bot. Gets you to use the sentry bot item. Pretty easy to do, not much else to say. 4 out of 5. Keep them coming. Get 5 kills with 1 deployed sentry turret. This is a step up from passive aggressive. Not only because you need 5 kills, but also because the sentry turret is stationary and far more vulnerable than a sentry bot. 4 out of 5. 3 birds, 1 bomb car. Kill 3 enemies with an RC bomb car. I might be hitting broken record syndrome here, but it gets you to use a new item, and it's not too hard. 4 out of 5. Mechanicide. Kill 100 enemies with sentry bots, sentry turrets, or RC bomb cars. Don't get confused by the wording. It's not asking for 100 kills with each of those things for a grand total of 300 kills. It's 100 kills across all 3 combined. I don't know how I feel about this one. Like, I was already encouraged to use each of these items in the previous 3 achievements I discussed. Why not change the requirements for those last ones? Like, for example, kill 3 enemies with 1 sentry bot becomes kill 25 enemies total with sentry bots. And then do the same with sentry turrets and bomb cars. 100 kills with all these are quick enough to knock out, so I guess I'll call it a 3 out of 5 and move on with my day. Hat trick. Kill at least 3 enemies with a single mind-controlled enemy. I always wondered why creating the mind control crossbow bolts was a mandatory story mission, but you never actually need to use them. This achievement somewhat rectifies that, except for one fatal flaw. On the Xbox version, there are several online reports claiming that this may take multiple attempts before it decides to unlock. Given that it's a little annoying to pull off even a single time, that can be a hassle. That drops a would-be 4 down to a 3, and tallies up a glitchy flag for the total. Roadkill, run over 10 mutants. This one feels more accomplishing than maybe it should. There are so few moments where you'll come across mutants while having access to your car. You may not even know that running over mutants can be done without this achievement pointing it out. Unlike previous entries where I said bump up the 10 kill count, let's keep this one at 10 kills considering how rare the opportunity is for roadkills and give it a 4 out of 5. Now that I've taken my meds and killing doesn't get my rocks off, let's cover achievements related to side objectives. Arts and crafts, construct 10 engineering items. I don't know why they worded that description in such fancy words. It just say craft 10 items. This guides you towards using the crafting mechanic. It's very easy, you'll pick up all sorts of crafting parts scavenged in the world, and you can even buy parts everywhere. 4 out of 5. Tinkerer, construct 50 engineering items. The big brother of arts and crafts, and I don't think this needs to be here. It's not hard. On the contrary, crafting 50 items is just as easy as crafting 10. It just takes a minute or two longer. Or it pops on its own eventually if you incorporate occasional item crafting in your playthrough. I feel like we didn't need 2 item crafting achievements. You could have mashed these 2 together and made the requirement somewhere in the middle, like craft 25 items. A perfect candidate for a 3 out of 5. It's not problematic to unlock, but since arts and crafts already taught us about crafting, I mean, why are you here, Tinkerer? Go eat a fucking salmon. Actually, that sounds delicious right now. Bringing home the bacon. Earned $750 in 1 episode of Bash TV in the campaign. I'm glad this is the story mission that gets an extra task, because it is the rawest in terms of brainless fun. At the end of a Mutant Bash TV run, you were scored on your accuracy, quickness, and kill count. It's really not that hard. I had a pretty crappy run and still edged out just over the $750 requirement. I think if the score requirement was a tad higher, maybe in the 850 or even 900 range, so it pushed your need for an efficient run higher, it'd be a prime achievement example. Still got a good 4 out of 5 here though. Jackpot. Roll 4 targets in the first round of tombstones. Here's our first example for an achievement being brag-worthy that is far off the mark from being fun. Tombstones is an innocent enough minigame in a vacuum. You got 3 rounds and roll 4 dice every round. You'll either roll skulls or targets, and you want to roll 4 targets total across 3 rounds to win your money. Or in this case, the very first round to earn jackpot. It's time for a lucky red flag, because this is pure gambling. And you have no choice but to roll dice over and over and over until chance takes your side. This'll earn my lowest score yet, 2 out of 5. I think having an achievement that gets you to play tombstones is fine, but maybe change it to win 10 rounds total, or earn $1,000 across all winnings, something that doesn't make you hold out for a highly unlikely occurrence. Hardest deck. Beat Teague's hardest deck. Dude, this is based on the minigame Rage Frenzy, which is such a dope-ass minigame. Collect cards based on the characters and items in Rage, and then throw down in an original battle card game. First, kudos to the game for giving me a collectible that actually does something in the game, not just check an arbitrary box. Second, kudos to making a game within a game so fun that I wish there was a spin-off for just that game. Teague is the second Rage Frenzy player you'll encounter later in the campaign. How difficult this achievement gets depends on how many cards you've bothered to go recruit into your deck. If you're going in with just the starter deck, it'll be a nightmare. But since you're able to make this easier on yourself, it's not brutal. Now yes, you could also argue that this deserves a lucky red flag. I mean, all battle card games make you work with the hand you're dealt. But it's not pure chance like gambling or random loot drops. I'm so happy this achievement directed me towards this awesome minigame. 5 out of 5. Deliverance. Complete the final round of Strum. This is my least favorite minigame. It's just Simon Says with a banjo. I'd rather go roll dice mindlessly. This will go one of 2 ways. You either strain your brain practicing some batch memory exercise to make it through, or you write down the notes as you progress, because aside from the 3 notes newly added to the end, the pattern remains the same across rounds. In other words, struggle on a low-tier minigame or cheese the system. The fact that it can be cheesed instead of being painful is why I'll be nice and give it a 3. Just a flesh wound. Complete the final round of 5-finger fillet. The first 4 rounds of this minigame are nothing crazy. Follow a set pattern and time your stabs to not nip your digits. That 5th round though, holy hell. It is the longest by far and follows 0 rhyme or reason. Talk about an achievement you gotta earn. I had half a mind to give this our first brutal flag, but it can be cheesed with pause buffering, alleviating a huge wave of possible pain. Which may seem contradictory considering the logic I just gave the Strum minigame, being you either face an absurd challenge or cheese the system and nullify the point. I think this 5-finger fillet case gets a leg up because it's still a challenge even while exploiting, whereas Strum's existence is 100% watered down. Also, Strum is just lame, and 5-finger fillet is at least kinda fun. 4 out of 5. Minigamer. Win all minigames. If you can't hit the harder goals associated with each individual minigame achievement, then this does a good job rewarding you for getting a taste of each one. You don't have to clear all rounds, just get 1 victory screen from 1 round of Tombstones, Rage Frenzy, Strum, and 5-finger fillet. 4 out of 5. Dev Graffiti. Find the secret developer graffiti room. Time to add our first obscure flag, because I don't think you're finding this room without Googling or Binging, or what the hell else is there? DuckDuckGoing? Are you a DuckDuckGoer? Leave a comment down below, even though I won't believe you. Anyways, look up where to find this valve and open an entry into a room full of dev signatures. Rage is a game chock full of secret Easter eggs. I wish they all had achievements. Normally I wouldn't encourage more reasons to look up a guide and pull me away from the game, but I guess being obscure is the least offensive red flag I have. And if I'm wishing for more achievements like this one to exist, I'll lean on the side of positivity and give it a 5. Here's a similar case for It's Good. Score each of the 3 field goals from the ATV. Definitely an obscure flag here. You need to fly through holy shit, this is hard to say. You need to fly through 3 field goals, which are very well hidden in the wasteland. How do you fly through them? Haul ass on the quad and smash into a wall to ragdoll yourself. This shit's hilarious as hell, I'm glad it exists. When I started this video idea, I had in my mind that any red flag would dock points. But damn it, it's just a quick online search away for a fun ass time. Another 5 out of 5. Mr. Oddjob, complete 5 job board quests in 1 playthrough. I don't know why they didn't make you complete all 9 job board quests, like just go that extra mile and amplify that feeling of accomplishment. Still, at least it directs you to the job board's existence, although I don't know if that's a great thing. The job board quests leave a lot to be desired. You either provide sniper cover for allies from a crow's nest, or return to a hideout you previously completed and get some new MacGuffin. While I get a giggle breaking into the wasted garage to steal a case of beer, I already ran through this place, and I fought these enemies. Come on, mix it up a little bit. 3 out of 5. Master Chef. Collect all recipes and schematics in 1 playthrough. Don't let the odd distinguishment between recipes and schematics here trip you up. They aren't 2 unique concepts, just get all the crafting recipes in a run. Some are found in the world as a collectible, some can be purchased from town vendors, some are acquired over the main campaign, and some are side quest rewards. First, we're getting an obscure flag. If all the side quest recipes came from the big obvious glowing job boards in town, we wouldn't need this flag. However, a couple of these recipe side quests are assigned by random schmucks smacking their mackerel at the local watering hole. Unless you're talking to every no-life yahoo in town, you're probably going to overlook these. We're not done though. How about a 2-in-1 red flag wombo combo? This also gets a missable flag, because if you don't talk to this guy Ramos Outrigger in the Outrigger settlement and do his side quest for the Adrenaline Overdrive recipe prior to taking up shelter in Wellspring, the Outrigger settlement will be permanently shut off, forcing you out of your chance to collect all recipes until you start a brand new save file. What pisses me off the most is that a lot of collectibles in Rage used to be missable shortly after the game released, but later they patched the game to allow missable collectibles to be purchased from vendors. Except for the Adrenaline Overdrive recipe. That one kept its limited window of opportunity for whatever screwy reason. This obviously should be an achievement. I'd be a little miffed if I got all the recipes and one didn't unlock. At the same time, missable shit sucks. Why couldn't you also patch that one recipe? 2.5 out of 5, because I'm irritated. If it was just an obscure flag, I could have looked the other way and gave it more. Jumper. Perform all 18 vehicle jumps. Alright, how about a fair collectible now? We got 18 drones hovering around the dirt with highly convenient environmental ramps nearby. So let's smash a car through all of them. 18 is not an overbearing number. They're fun to pull off. My only question is if it too deserves an obscure flag. Drones flying in the sky are more noticeable than tiny field goals, a secret dev room, no names giving side quests for recipes or playing cards. We'll get to that last one in a second. You know what? I wouldn't think it'd be unreasonable to say you could find all the jumps rather easily without a guide. Rage isn't exactly an open world, so just driving around and using your eyes isn't exactly daunting. I actually just talked myself into it. 5 out of 5. I started this entry on a 4, but the vehicle jumps are truly dumb, action-packed fun. Gotta have them all. Collect all playing cards in 1 playthrough. This is the most extensive collectible in Rage, requiring you to find 54 cards scattered across the wasteland, also earning an obscure flag, since these small cards are easy to miss and are hidden in all sorts of tucked away rooms, some even requiring certain items to gain access to. Not much else to say, this one's quite the undertaking, but it's rewarding and just not tedious enough to drop down and score. 4 out of 5. Rage Cup. Win all races in the campaign. This is a lot more cut and dry. There's a bunch of races you'll unlock over the course of the game. Just do them all. Time trials, combat races, non-combat races, also known as, races, and these weird arena-like races that you race to beacon rally races. I don't know. Probably my least favorite type. But you know, the more I reflect on it, the more I realize this is a damn good achievement. It rewards overcoming a feat in the game, It's pretty hard, but doesn't get the brutal flag. There's a ton of races to occupy you, but not to the point of getting a grindy flag. And the vehicle combat in this game is fantastic. 5 out of 5. Obsessive compulsive. Reach 100% completion in the campaign. Now this is what I like to call the final boss achievement. You know the ones. Clearly designed to be the largest undertaking or the last achievement you'll unlock. It's a 5 out of 5 concept at face value, telling a completionist to complete will get their nerdy bits in a hussy, but let's judge it based on the sum of its parts. Beating the main campaign, doing all 9 job board side quests, performing all 18 vehicle jumps, collecting all 54 cards, collecting all 19 crafting recipes, finishing all the vehicle races, and winning a round of each minigame. The only one of these tasks I previously had a problem with were the recipes, because Adrenaline Overdrive is missable. So does Obsessive Compulsive match that score because that exact problem bleeds over? I don't know. As I record this, I actually don't know and have to stop to think about it. Alright, you know what? I'll go 3 out of 5. A missable item that can force a new 100% run and a considerable amount of guide referencing for cards and recipes wears it down, also warranting another obscure flag. One missable item here is a much smaller slice of the whole pie as the recipes alone are, and I do think a 100% completion entry is the perfect topping to include in most cases. With the base game single player stuff out of the way, let's discuss one of my least favorite achievement types, the multiplayer stuff. The Legend Begins, complete a Legend of the Wasteland, and Anthology, complete all Legends of the Wasteland. These are just co-op missions, so bribe a buddy with pizza, beer, cuddles, no homo of course, or homo, whatever, I don't judge, you do you boo-boo. I do prefer co-op gameplay over competitive, and while this serves a purpose showing you the Legends of the Wasteland mode, anyone who plays Rage will likely agree that these legends could disappear and nobody would miss them. That'll be 2 scores of 3 out of 5. And 2 multiplayer red flags. 2 more co-op items. We got a true legend, complete a Legend of the Wasteland on Nightmare difficulty, and no room for sidekicks, complete a Legend of the Wasteland without any player becoming incapacitated. Now you gotta make sure your partner is halfway competent since there's some difficulty associated with these. In fact, doing a mission with no revives is harder than doing one on Nightmare. At least on Nightmare your team can die as much as you want and keep reviving. To sum it up, we have purposeful achievements in a game mode without a purpose. 2 more 3 out of 5s, and 2 more multiplayer flags. Now the competitive side. Fresh meat, complete a public road rage match, and MVP, get first place in a public road rage match. The reason why I hate competitive multiplayer achievements is because there are so many factors you can't control. Even the simplest ones can be a headache because you can't help if online modes are dead or shut down, and you can't control the skill level of your opponents. Luckily these 2 are simple by nature, but since nobody plays Rage online, you're gonna need to scrounge up a group of 4 and take turns trading first place wins. In case I haven't mentioned it enough, I hate multiplayer achievements and I'd love to see the day that games start including offline alternatives to unlock multiplayer achievements. 2 more 2 out of 5s, and 2 more multiplayer red flags. We've hit all 50 of the base game achievements. Our last section is all about the Scorchers DLC now, which brings 10 more achievements to the table. We already talked about the additional Ultra Nightmare difficulty much earlier in this video, but now that we're here, let's add in those 9 additional purchase red flags. I really don't love the idea of DLC achievements in all cases, but I won't use it as an excuse to just chop a point off every DLC score. However, the fact I had to pay money for this means my criticisms are going to be heavier handed. Fantastic achievements are going to leave me wishing it was part of the original experience, and terrible achievements will have my soul scorn for the fact that I paid money for this shit. Cavernous Stumble, Plans Refined, Thrash Canyon, Rite of Passage, and Fired Up are all obtained from natural progression through the Scorchers campaign, so they'll all get a 4 out of 5. Rebar Pie, pin an enemy to a surface with a rebar ammo shot. This is like the wingstick one, I could do this 100 times over. I love skewering enemies with rebar rods like a platter of douche kebabs. This achievement is so easy, in fact it's too easy. Almost unsatisfying, while, ironically, using one of the most satisfying weapons possible. I wish it was harder. Pin 25 enemies to walls, or pin 10 enemy heads to walls with headshots, or maybe skewer 2 enemies with 1 rebar rod. I don't know, something like that. It's still a 4 out of 5 because it's fun and the name is creative. Could have been a 5 out of 5 if it was just a little bit more. Wall hack. Kill 2 enemies with 1 railgun slug shot through a wall. The railgun is OP. You get X-ray vision through walls, the shots travel through walls, and it one-shots every non-mini-boss enemy. I like this one considerably less than the rebar one. It takes more effort to pull off, which is a plus at first. I like earning my badges. However, this game is finicky about what it considers a quote-unquote wall. It is very specifically looking for you to kill 2 enemies in a single shot through what the game was programmed to recognize as part of the game map, not an asset placed on it, I think. At least that's my tinfoil hat theory. If you achieve this, but your shot went through a support column, or a piece of cover, or any other part of the environment that isn't part of a main building, it most likely won't pop. As a result, I'm going to give it a possibly controversial glitchy red flag. Technically, there are no true glitches at play here, but I want to play by my earlier definition where an achievement doesn't unlock despite you performing what was asked. I feel like there are a lot of things that most people would logically conclude are quote-unquote walls that this game doesn't. I seriously didn't think a poor wording flag was necessary since that's a really specific circumstance, so glitchy it is as the most fitting way to categorize this. Also a 3 out of 5. Now let's go gambling again. With the Scorchers DLC comes Lucky Charms. Bet and win on green in the roly-poly minigame. I don't know why they call it roly-poly. This is a standard roulette wheel. 100% random chance at play here, so a lucky red flag will be assigned. There's nothing you can do to hedge your odds. Just place the minimum $5 bet and keep at it. When I first got this achievement way back in the day, it took me about 20 minutes of spinning the wheel. But when I went back and saved some game footage for this video recently, it only took me about 6 minutes. Still, I spent money on a game add-on. They gave me an unoriginal roulette wheel minigame and made a purely random achievement tied to it. 2 out of 5. On the same breath, we have Foursome. Win with a 4 of a kind in the video poker minigame. Everything I said about the roulette wheel transfers here. Lucky red flag. I spent money on this DLC. If I wanted to play poker, I'd whip out my Legend of Zelda themed deck and play with my real friends. Or hell, I live in Nevada. I can go down the street to a casino, throw quarters into a machine and get free cocktails all night. Possibly win real money. Possibly find a nice hooker. When I started this video, I was prepared to award Foursome the title of worst achievement in the game and give it a 1 out of 5 because the first time I ever got it, it took me 2.5 hours of dealing cards. However, and I don't know how the hell I did this, when re-recording gameplay for this video, I got the 4 of a kind hand in like 5 minutes. As if the 7 stars and 7 moons of the cosmos weren't already aligned enough, I shit you not, I got the Foursome with a hand of 4s. I mean, you can see the video proof on screen, I guess. I don't know if luck was screwing me in the ass on the first attempt years ago, or if I got them hot hands today. Maybe going to the local casino is in the near future after all. Still, don't give me achievements based on pure luck rather than skill. Pretty sure that spits in the face of the definition of the word achievement. 2 out of 5. Well, that was all 60 achievements. Let's tabulate the final scores I'll give Rage as a whole game. First is game quality. Again, without consideration of the achievements. I think Rage is an underrated game that flew under the radar. Now, don't get it twisted, it's not Game of the Year candidate. I mean, geez, how could you be in the year 2011 when the competitors were Batman Arkham City, Uncharted 3, Gears of War 3, Mortal Kombat, Rayman Origins, Dark Souls, fucking Skyrim, the widespread public launch of Minecraft for Christ's sake. 2011 was legendary for gaming. But my point being, you can see why Rage got easily dismissed in the crowd. Visually, it holds up fine. I think it suffers from what I call wasteland syndrome. When you place a game in a post-apocalyptic setting, you're destined to be exposed to seeing nothing but dirt and dilapidated structures. But there are a few spectacles worth taking in. Audibly, there's nothing much to talk about. There's one soundtrack that slaps and the rest are not bad per se, but not memorable. The story is completely botched. It has a neat idea on paper. You're frozen away in an underground bunker to survive an Earth-ending meteor collision, then wake up in a post-apocalyptic civilization wrought with bandits, mutants, and a tyrannical superpower, and you gotta figure out what the fuck is even going on. Unfortunately, like 90% of the campaign comes down to doing random bitch errands for people with absolutely no relation to resisting the authority. None of the characters are interesting, except Dan, but he's only around for the earlier portion of the game before going truly NPC mode. There is literally nothing revealed about your protagonist, not even his damn name. The end is so abrupt and anticlimactic. If you're looking for an engaging plot with world building and character development, rising action, climax, and resolution, look literally anywhere else. Rage has none of that. Gameplay. Now this is the most important part of a video game. Is it just fun to play? That's where Rage really shines. It is just fun to turn off your brain and kill shit. You get a slew of guns with supporting items. Each gun has 3 to 4 different ammo types, making every gun feel even more diverse, like 3 or 4 guns in one. The vehicle racing and combat is super simple and action-packed. Now Rage does make you drive from quest to quest, town to town like you'd expect in an open world game. However, the map is very linear and devoid of exploration, so it feels like a bit of a head-scratch design. There's a fair amount of side content, some better than others, but there are distractions aside from the main campaign. Multiplayer in the competitive and co-op flavors are present, but like I've said before, they are completely dead on arrival. Overall, Rage deserves to be placed on the great game tier. Next, the difficulty score. Rage really isn't that hard of a game to complete. Nothing I discussed got a brutal flag. The hardest aspects of the game will be an Ultra Nightmare run, beating Five Finger Fillet, and a couple of the Legends of the Wasteland tasks. Outside of that, it really is easy compared to the rest of the vast ocean of gaming. I'm gonna say it's a 6 out of 10 for overall difficulty. Next is the time score. What time dedication are you looking at for Rage? Like the difficulty, there was nothing that crossed into the grindy territory. The closest things would be all the collectible hunting and getting that 100% campaign run. Looking at about maybe a 30 to 40 hour checklist, so I would give Rage a 4 out of 10 as a time sink. Moving on to the miscellaneous score. This will be the highest score yet. If you told me that you couldn't be bothered to 100% Rage, my first guess as to why would not be because the game is too hard, or because it takes too long. I would guess most people would be stopped by one of the other miscellaneous red flags I've thrown up along the way. For example, you have to buy the Scorchers DLC, which a $5 purchase on its own isn't a massive hurdle, but I find it likely that a lot of people just won't even bother. You'll also spend a fair share of time on internet walkthroughs seeking out all the collectibles and secrets, of which one of those is missable. You also got 3 achievements tied to pure random gambling, got a little dash of potential glitches thrown in there, just enough multiplayer to be a headache, and voila! We got a 7 out of 10 miscellaneous flag score. Grand finale time, the ultimate super official grade A USDA approved scooter stamp of final completion scoring. I don't even know what the hell I just said. Overall, getting all the achievements / trophies in Rage, I would give it a 6.4 out of 10 recommendation. I think there's just enough that casual players won't be bothered, but if you're looking for your first completion or a quick boost to your gamer score or trophy count, Rage is a pretty solid option. Seasoned completion gamers won't have much problem taking down Rage. Well, that's all I got for today. If you want to throw a bladed boomerang and never cut yourself when it returns to your hand, leave a like on this video. If you want to slingshot off an ATV for shits and giggles and never receive bodily harm, hit that subscribe button. If you want a lifetime supply of dirty rags that can perfectly heal even the most fatal of gunshot wounds, leave a comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.